Howdy. Oh, actually, this is my very, very first time to use this word, howdy. The other day, one of my viewers said to me, howdy, and I was curious about it. But since I had never used it, I was quite hesitant to use this greeting. But I decided to try to use it today because the more I use it, the better you get better at it, right? So I tried to use it, and yeah, I did it. And how does this sound? Is it okay for me to use this word? Because for some words, it's not appropriate for anyone who is in my age. Like I'm in my late 50s, and I'm not too young. So some words are not appropriate for me to use, right? So in terms of this, I was not really sure if I could use this word, but howdy. Okay, let's get started. Today is Thursday. I love Thursday just because we don't have any garbage or trash to be collected on Thursday, which means that I don't need to care to wake up early enough to take out any garbage or trash, so that I won't be late for it. Sometimes I can be too late when I woke up, and it was too late for me to take out the garbage or trash, depending on the day. But on Thursdays, there is no such thing as taking out trash or garbage. So I love Thursday. It's the most relaxing day of the week, except for weekends, because Saturdays and Sundays they don't collect garbage or trash. So I can be relaxed both on Thursdays and weekends. Okay. And the date, yes, October 12th, and the year 2023. Time now is 12:48. I've already finished walking my dogs, which is nice because I feel carefree. Walking my dogs is the biggest thing I do in a day. It's very important. I really care about my dog's health, and I never fail to take my dogs for a walk. Yeah, just like other dog lovers, dog owners, good dog owners. But sometimes I feel a bit too tired to feel like going for a walk with my dogs. But this is my job, so I have to do it anyway. But sometimes I'm too tired, not only physically but also mentally, and in such a situation where I'm too tired mentally, when I go out, I tend to feel so sensitive, and I tend to feel so tired because I can be very sensitive about sound, noise, light, and everything. And I have to pay attention to cars and the people, something dangerous out there. So everything makes me so tired, and at first I'm already too tired. And when I go out and when I take out my dogs for a walk, it makes me even more tired, and by the time I come home, I feel exhausted. I'm very sensitive and I'm vulnerable. I'm susceptible. So this is very typical of me, and I really want to fix it. But now I almost gave up fixing my tendency. But I think it's better for me to accept my tendency rather than rejecting it and trying to correct it. Okay, where was I? The weather is so nice. It's quite hot for autumn, but wind is chilly, so it helps me feel cooler. But when I go out, the sunshine was so strong, and I didn't get a suntan. I know that getting some sunshine, some sunlight is very good for your health, right? So I should go out and get enough sunshine, but I don't like to get more than enough sunshine. So I was wearing this jacket, which helps me prevent from getting too much sunshine. The color is white, and it's made of this very unique material. I don't know what it is called in English, and even I don't know what it is called in Japanese though, but it's typical. It's a typical material for consulting. No. The word I'm trying to come up with sounds similar to insulate. Okay, insulate. So the material helps insulate the sunlight into your onto your skin. So in this way, you cannot get excessive sunlight. You can avoid getting excessive sunlight, but still I need some sunlight. So this is a very difficult situation. If I won't wear this kind of jacket to help insulating sunlight, it cannot be very healthy because I need to get sunshine to some extent. But I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. The best option for today for myself was to wear this jacket to prevent myself from getting excessive sunlight anyway. So I chose to wear this jacket anyway. And the sunlight was so strong that it made me tired too. And I sweat a lot. So after I came back home, after that 40-minute walk with my dogs, it was my routine, very important routine, and it is very important for my dogs too, because they need exercise to keep themselves healthy, right? And I covered with sweat. I was covered with sweat, and I had to cool myself down. And I made some coffee, which is which is cold, but not cold enough to make my body cool. I put some ice cubes into my hot coffee to cool it down, but not cold enough to cool myself. Too cold. No, to make my body too cold. And I drank some, and it's still there. I love drinking coffee. Oh, all right. And I try to finish my speaking practice as quickly as possible, because the more quickly I get this done for a day, the more relaxed I can be after that. So I love doing this practice as early as possible. I used to do it at night while my daughter was walking outside for her practice, for her exercise, but that was too late for me, because I always review my recording after I recorded my voice, and it took the same amount of time that I spent for my recording, right? And then if I started doing this practice at 10 p.m., I would finish my practice around, sometime around 10:45 and 11 p.m. And then after that, I would start listening to my recording, which would take the same amount of time, and it would finish, or by the time I would finish listening to my recording, it was almost midnight. That was too late for me, because after that I would have to take a bath, and sometimes I would have to take my dogs, because that was still very hot in the summertime, and I avoided taking my dogs during the daytime. I would avoid taking my dogs for a walk during the daytime, meaning that the only time that I was able to take my dogs for a walk was either very early, very, very early in the morning at around 4 a.m. It was still dark outside, but it was already very hot, because it was during the summertime, or it was very late at night after my practice. Because before my practice, it was still around 9 p.m., and it was still too early for me to take my dogs for a walk for some reason. And where was I anyway? Yes, and these days, the weather is cooler. It's cooler, right? Because it's autumn. And so I can take my dogs for a walk during the daytime, which is very nice. So I can just finish walking my dogs first, and then after drink some coffee to make myself relaxed, I took some relaxing time, and after that I started doing this practice. And if I get this done quickly, I can have so much free time later that, which allows me to do lots of reading, lots of other practices for my English, and it makes me feel that I can make the most of my time, which is really, really good. So that's the main reason that I love this season of the year, which is autumn. I love autumn very much. I don't like winter because it's too cold for me. And especially I'm a person who was born on September. I like warm seasons rather than cold seasons, unlike my daughter who was born on February. She likes cold seasons rather than warm seasons. We are so different because we were born on different seasons. All right, and then, okay, let me introduce myself, a bit. I think I'm going to practice introducing myself every day, little by little, and eventually I can become perfect when it comes to introducing myself, right? So for people who listen to my recording, my practice, my video for the first time, I'm going to introduce myself from now on, okay? And the most important thing for my practice is to just keep talking, whatever that came into my mind, because I have this teacher. She's a YouTuber, and I haven't met her in person. She lives in the U.S. now. She's probably in her early 30s, but she looks very young. She looks so charming, and she's very beautiful, and she's Japanese, okay? She's Japanese in her early 30s, and I've never met her in person. I really wish I could meet her in person because she is someone who I admire so much. And I'm proud of her as Japanese because she does a great job. She's a great English speaker. He's an English coach, and she's a YouTuber out there on YouTube, and she's been around for a few years, but she doesn't have very many subscribers. I think that her channel should be much more popular, and I wonder why she doesn't have that many subscribers. I don't know why. I think she is one of the great YouTubers. Who are Japanese and who teach English there on YouTube. I'm sure she's one of the best. Absolutely. And what she says, something like this, that for people who struggle with their speaking skills, even though their English levels are quite high, but they are not good at speaking English, and they even don't know how to improve their speaking skills. And she says something really good for such people, and I'm one of them. Okay, it was about a few months ago when I first started watching her videos. I came across her video one day suddenly, and I was very happy to be able to find her. And she said that when you practice, it's very important to try to keep talking, and it is okay to talk about anything, but the most important thing is to keep talking, and you can just talk about anything, and the topic can be anything, and the topic can be it is totally okay for you to talk about anything very stupid, very boring, something about so you don't have to be something like, oh, I have to talk about something very intelligent, and I have to be sounding very intelligent, or no, you don't have to do that. It's very important to come up with any words, okay, because this is very important element to improve your speaking skills. Okay, the most important thing for you to do is how quickly you can come up with words, because you are not used to doing this, but you are used to doing this in your native language because you did this so much and you are just used to doing this. It's very easy for you to do this in your native language. But when it comes to your foreign language, the amount of time you spent speaking your target language is so little. So this is the only reason that you cannot speak as much as you can do in your, you are not good at speaking your foreign language, and this is something that you struggle with this, right? And so in order to overcome it, it's very, very important to keep talking anyway. And the topic is anything. Any topic is possible. But you cannot stop talking. You try to come up with any word possible, and it makes you improve your speaking skills. This is the only way you can make yourself fluent. And I believed this method, and I try to do this. I have been trying to do this myself, and she says that if you try this, you'll be surprised how effective it is. And I am quite surprised how effective it is, because I did this practice myself, and it taught me a lot, and it made me easier. This practice made it easier for me to speak more fluently, quickly. It made it easier for me to do this thing more easily. I think it worked. So that's why when it comes to my practice, I always make it a rule to keep talking, keep practicing, but my topics are pretty random, and I don't think that I'm talking something coherently. My topics are incoherent, and so maybe you could feel that you could find that I'm doing something stupid, but it doesn't matter. I don't care, because the most important thing for me to do this practice is whether or not I should do this quickly or not, and non-stop, okay? And so let me introduce myself. I'm Japanese, but I'm not gonna tell you where I live, except for I live in Japan, okay? Because I want to be anonymous here. So I'm not gonna tell you my real name. My channel name is Language Enthusiast, because I'm a language enthusiast. So I named myself like this because I'm a language enthusiast, and I love this name. I started studying English seriously again when I was 28, when I was still permanent, no, I don't know how to say this, housewife. Okay, I have and my daughter was on the way. Okay, I was pregnant, and my third daughter was on the way. And I got interested in studying English one day, suddenly, but I didn't know how to study it from scratch. Yeah, I studied English as a subject when I was in school, but after graduating from high school, because I only have a high school degree and I didn't go to university, so after graduating from high school, I didn't study English at all for about, 10 years, okay? Because in Japan, most people can live without the knowledge of English. We have many foreign words. We have many foreign words that we borrowed from English or French or even any other languages. But like you have some Japanese words, like for example, I don't know, umami or sumo or sushi, right? You borrow some Japanese words and they got into your own language, right? And I suddenly got interested in studying English from scratch, because in those days, we were young mothers with little kids, and most of the mothers were enthusiastic about letting their kids learn English. But I was someone a bit weird. I was someone who was a bit weird, whimsical, and I didn't want to do something that others did. So I really wanted to do something which was totally opposite from others were doing. And I decided to study English myself rather than letting my daughters learn English. And I would rather feel proud of myself. I wanted to feel proud of myself rather than feeling proud of myself by letting my children learn English, okay? And I started studying English from scratch. I learned the most economical way. I learned English in the most economical way, which was listening to radio English programs. This National Broadcasting Corporation offered in those days, and but I had to buy textbooks for it anyway, and they have so many programs depending on the level, and I chose the lowest level program, and the program would start very early in the morning at around 6 a.m. and I would wake up earlier than that, and I would get ready for the program, and I would start listening to the program at 6 a.m. 6 times a week from Monday to Saturday. And even though I had to buy a textbook, just listening to the program was free. So I continued to do it for the entire year. But they just taught me the very easy, simple English, like the English that 7th graders studied at school. so I only had the very limited knowledge of English, and at that time I never spoke to anyone in English. So in those days, when I was in school, we didn't have any native English teachers at school. But nowadays, students have native English speakers at school, so they can practice their English with them. But in those days, when I was back in the 70s, okay, we didn't have such teachers at school, so I almost seldom have the opportunity to speak to foreign people in English. In real English, okay? And then after that 1 year, I started taking part in this community or group where many housewives with little kids gathered to this classroom that this word next word different word, this institution, official institution offered, okay, they rented a room for the community, and every Monday they came to the place to have a chat in English, okay? And so many housewives were already good English speakers. Some were not, but they all had in common, which was they love English, okay? And they have this Canadian teacher who was a female Canadian teacher who was in her 20s, who came from Canada to live in Japan for a certain amount of time, and they asked the teacher to be their teacher in the community. And once every Mondays, once a week, they would just get there to enjoy talking with each other in English. And I started going there after I studied English for the entire year, okay? And I had this misconception about my English since I was proud of myself. Finishing the entire program for a year, I was quite confident that I was good enough to be able to talk with someone in English. So the first day at the community, the group, I was asked to introduce myself in English, but I was so nervous because I had never done that before. And in front of the Canadian teacher, I had to introduce myself, but I couldn't do it very well, and my voice was very small, and the teacher couldn't hear me because I didn't know how to vocalize myself in English, because when we speak Japanese and when we speak English, we have to use our voice differently. In Japanese, we tend to speak more quietly, but we can make ourselves understood somehow. But in English, things are a little different, and we have to speak in a bit more louder voice, and we have to enunciate pronunciate ourselves because English is not our native tongue, and we cannot. Sometimes it might be difficult for us to make ourselves even hard, but I didn't know that, so I just say something in English, but the way I did it was not effective, and the teacher couldn't understand me very well, and she asked me to say it again, and which made me even less confident, and I was very, very nervous because that was my very first time to express something in English. I don't think I was doing very well, but that was okay anyway, and I lost confidence, and it made me try hard after I came back home, and from the next day, I still continued to study with the radio program, and the course I was taking for the next year was a little bit the next level. At first I was studying for the course which was for the 7th graders, right? And the next year I was studying for the program designed for the 8th graders, okay? The English I was studying for the next year was a bit more difficult and a little bit more complicated than the program I had been taking the previous year. Okay, but the program lasted for a year, right? So every year, my progress was quite slow, right? Because it took 3 years to learn English for junior high school. Because it took 1 year to study English for which is equivalent for I don't know how to say this in English, but because the first year, the entire year, they teach us English, which the 7th graders learn, right? And for the second year, the entire year, they teach us the English, which the 8th graders study at school, right? And the third year, they teach us English, which the 9th graders study at school, right? So when we want to learn from these radio programs, it takes 3 years at least to learn English for junior high school students, right? I don't think that you shouldn't take that long to learn that English. That simple, easy English, basics. I would spend much shorter amount of time now, like I could do this in a month and then move on to something different, something more difficult, more complicated. Or at first I would learn grammar first and then move on to listening to more English, more natural English, move on to reading a lot, move on to memorizing some very important expressions. So I wouldn't take that long, like 3 years, to learn the basics. Okay, but I didn't have any other way in those days to improve my English from scratch. So that was the only way I could think of anyway. And I did it, and I improved my English to some extent. And it's been 40 minutes since I started speaking English for this practice. And you know what? I will have to cook lunch. So I think that's about it for today. And maybe tomorrow I'm going to talk about the same topic. But that's okay because this is practice. And actually, I talked about this story some time ago. But as you can see, I'm not doing very well, right? So, and this is where practice comes in, right? The more I practice, the more I talk about the same topic, the better I can get at, right? The more I can get at it. So, okay, I'm too hungry now to keep talking, actually. My blood, my brain is lack of energy, and my stomach is growling. Growling, is it okay? Is this word right? Growling. And in a nutshell, I'm too hungry to concentrate on my speaking. Oh well. Oh, sorry, my daughter came down from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor where I am now to interrupt for a while. And my daughter talked to my dogs and played with them, or a bit made fun of them. And so I had to stop the recording. But I think that's about it for today. And today's recording is, I guess, one of the worst, I guess. But I don't care about this because tomorrow is another day. And anyway, the most important thing, the objective of this practice is just for myself, to make myself the opportunity to speak. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I really hope that you have a wonderful Thursday, Friday, whatever. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow too. Bye-bye.